Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing invasion of the Soviet Union. I think I'm going to have to keep this episode short, but we will get right to it. Okay. Some support there. Well, let's see if we can hold out for a little while. Oh, we also need to look at the tech we just got. Oh. This one. No. This one. Okay, we'll get that well enough. Let's see. That's what we need to continue to move forward with. Yes. Training, there we go. Okay. Yes, we want to upgrade Liebstandarte SS Adolf Hitler. It was known as a regiment for a long time after it was divisional size. So this is changing it into a panzer division, alright. And we want Flooring Geyer division, yes. And yes, we will also upgrade the 7th Panzer Division. Refit it. This is Rommel's old division, and what it's presumably doing here is moving it from, which I think maybe what's pictured in the background there, the old Czech 38 Ts into a newer, better Panzers. Now we're using a Hermann Goering Brigade. We have, or whatever this is called. We should get removed for this attack here, which isn't doing so well. We'll try to push these guys out. We'll try to upgrade that at the moment. And this is also which from a division here they have a second event. I think what can happen is depending on conditions, it could have been I think it's triggered at the start of the war with this, or certain time after the started the invasion of the Soviet Union, and since we started it a year late, this what would have been the second year's upgrade is now just to happen now, right after the first. I guess we can actually have a heavy. Panzer unit. Long-barreled Panzer IVs, those are good. Sturmgeschütz. So those will be good, but no Tigers yet. I've been down here, so we'll send it down there as well. So, Panzer Division reorganized here in France. Well, let's send them there. What? Yeah, also Panzer IVs, long barrels. So that's a definite improvement. And a mechanized support regiment. And the cavalry division. Yes. Reich. Das Reich. The nation. Thought he was here somewhere. Let's pull its eye. Yeah, there he is. Okay. He's just won his combat, but yeah, we'll grade it. For those of you who will be watching this today or tomorrow, this is the day that BlackICE 8 sort of came out, or yesterday, I guess, technically, but so, which means we'll see how it works with how stable it is, how bug reports and that thing. I've downloaded and installed a copy, taking a very quick look at it. Has some of the expected changes and some very interesting stuff, so it'll be a little while before TRE is updated to it, before we start on this series, but that it's out is a good step. Okay, wanted to do a couple of these now, that particularly this one here, because I don't know that it would upgrade territory in Soviet hands. So this is the Riga supply. Okay, so this will get supplies up to Riga. As you can see, they've done a few events that have dramatically lowered the infrastructure here, which will be continuing to hurt us. So 1% ICs, 2% supplies until December. 42, a bunch of metal we can afford. Now, unless they're doing some stupid god-awful amounts of metal, we can always afford more. We can always afford the metal. Lose 5 manpower. Oh, right now we're at almost 2,000, so we can afford this. So we're going to do this. I wanted to have the infrastructure up here to see if the effects are immediate or whatnot. Excuse me. Okay. I guess not immediate. Right in that. Guess it just starts the event change and the low. And that's right here. Supply network, we'll give permission again, some more amounts. And also is going to do the Berlin to Minsk night train. And this goes up here. So, same basic cost. Not sure how long it's going to take to get the railways re-gauged, refit, repaired. Combat. No, I'm not going to make you continue looking at that orange, god-awful orange screen here. Let's see, do we have some? These guys, we're going to use these guys to bombard here. Keep everybody moving forward, and I shifted my long range heavy transports there. I'm going to fly them up to Riga. That should get them close enough. We're going to try a paratroop drop here, though. It may not be necessary by the time we get there. I don't want to do deep paratroop drops because I don't want to lose whatever forces, but these guys keep coming, cycling in fresh. I don't want to get across this river or swamp area there sooner rather than later. We may not do as well as we hoped there. Okay, well they're apparently moving forward. Need to get in flank, do a flank attack there. Reinforce there. Let's try my parachute drop. I'm hoping that if it fails, they'll be able to retreat back out, so I won't lose the division. Okay, a bunch of events. Okay, now the effect has happened. Okay, so it's not an infrastructure improvement directly. As you can see, I haven't played with these late version 7 events this far into it. Before this series I played to about 1939, early 40, so I hadn't quite seen how all the Soviets. So we'll get less supplies additionally, more than just the effect, but more supply throughput. Okay. Similarly that should be good. Okay, the sinking of the Porto de Yama. Talk about it in here. I really don't know much more than what's said there. That battle, that's going good. Cavalry divisions are under attack. Fine. Yeah, fine. Okay. Corpo de Special Zone Italiano in Russia. Yes. There. Okay. We get the Italian contribution to the war in the East. That's good. Improved relations with that. Okay. Freewheeling Battalion Notes. SS. Okay. Free Corps Denmark. Freikorps Denmark. Okay, this is an interesting event. This is a BlackICE event, but it's interesting nonetheless. The Danish government and army continued to exist even though it was German occupied. The Danish government officially, I'm sure there was some pressure, but actively signed the Anti-Comintern Pact and actively, as the government, went to war against the Soviets. So what they did do is set up, they talk about it in here, the Free Danish Corps, the Danish Freikorps, or Freikorps Denmark. This volunteer army corps created by Danish Nazi parties. Yeah, that's partially true, but it was also staffed by not Danish civilians or of military age joining this. They were staffed by Danish soldiers current serving, and they were originally told that they would continue to wear their Danish uniforms, might be supplied with German weapons and equipment, but that they would in essence be Danish soldiers fighting the Great Crusade against Bolshevism, not against the West, not any of that kind of stuff. Because they weren't at war against the West, but that they were at war against the Soviets. What happened is that they got stationed wherever, started to get organized up, and this only started to happen after the Soviet Union invasion. It had started, they say, like in June. It was days after the invasion. So proclaimed the creation of the Corps. But so it took a while to get going. But they were basically, without being asked, I'm not going to say it's against their will, because I don't know that they were opposed to the idea. Well, I think many of them were just basically inducted into an SS Danish unit and given Danish uniforms. So the first group of people there could readily say, hey, I'm just a Danish soldier. We were fighting the Great Crusade against Bolshevism as my government. The later volunteers to this, and they did continue to get volunteers, definitely knew that they were going into the Waffen-SS. Whether they thought that was just sort of Germany's foreign legion, if you will, or whether they thought it was a National Socialist crusade for all what National Socialism means and not just an anti-Bolshevik crusade, that's another question. But definitely later on, the Danish volunteers knew about that. So interesting little group. Okay. Yes, we're going to reward our heroes. We have enough money. We're in a bit of a deficit right now. Have to stop buying some junk. Okay, Korpsführer Adolf Hunlin. He is the head of the NSKK. Dies. How did he die again? I made the event. I forget right offhand. After illness. So it was just an illness. some of the other ones died in car accidents and other things. Short guy, but he's the guy that headed up and managed the NSKK. So lost him. And Mark Blatt, instruction booklet for soldiers and personnel of the Air Force traveling from the Reich to Norway. This is just a sort of an informational little booklet, and I thought it was sort of interesting what it looked like that they would give to this particular one is for the Luftwaffe, but all branches had similar sorts of things for, you know, what to expect in Denmark. Most armies in the period had similar sort of books, but that's that one. And yes, this is not as dramatic as some of the other events, because I've did BlackICE that has like a fair amount of negative impacts by like putting women to work in the factories, which I think maybe are a little overdone negative impact. But this is just small, 60, which isn't too small, but women in the Luftschutz. It is something that you could do and still live at home, in essence, or live in your hometown. You know, local kind of stuff, and did all sorts of jobs in that. So yes, we want that. Conf group narrowing, yes, we want that. And no, we don't need to ration. Yes, we want the captured weapons. More captured weapons. Okay, Freikorps Denmark, yeah. Let's put somebody in charge of it now. I forget who, I'm not going to go look it up in one of my books right offhand. To put the correct person in place. Yeah, we are, I'm sure, on too much of something. Let's... We don't need to import fuel. We do want to get closer to Iran. Should put us back to a positive trade balance. So there we go with that, getting that going. We can support the attack. Yeah, that's dramatically changed her. Good. Yes, now we won against Sevastopol. Okay. Yay. Move that out. Down flying supplies at the moment. We've been attacked by somebody a little bit. We'll clear up the Crimea there. We get them supplies for money. Sure thing. Risk, how are we doing? Ooh, that's pretty red. Don't want a good general charge, but I do want somebody. Make sure the supplies can flow well enough. As you can see, we're having a mass exodus around here of all those forces that were part of the occupation forces there, or crushing the pocket is what I meant to say, I guess. Okay, go down here. Scrutineering, okay. Let's attach him to bad general, damn it, why did oh well. Okay, these guys. Let's send them to the historical place. Okay. Oh, who shattered? Yeah, we're consolidating our position there a little bit better. The remainder needs to be cleaned up. Hope the BlackICE team did that before this next version. Oh well, let's get him back there as soon as we can. Okay, we've won that battle. They finally made it there. We lost our divisional leader. Got pulled away by an event. These guys are taking forever. Part of it is we're just going so slow, but still those super mega provinces aren't. Okay, more events. Armata Italiana in Russia. Excellent. This was, these are supposed to be staggered by, I forget which one was supposed to come first. 2 different years, but since, of course, we invaded the Soviet Union late, bunch of stuff. Okay, so we're going to click here. Yep, we're sending them back to the fateful Stalingrad area. I'm just hoping not to make the same mistake and give them a big front all to their own, to then get slaughtered by a big Russian counterattack. Okay, yes, we want to continue with this treaty. Okay, yes, they would. We'll get a bunch of Swedish volunteers. There were, I think, memory says 600 or so, really. In reality, volunteered for the basically for the SS. A lot more actually went to Finland for the first Winter War and then the continuation war. Okay, this says 1,500 Swedes. Oh, volunteer for service with Finland between. Okay. Okay, and that is there, so we will send them north. Hopefully the Swedes like the gold. Let's put a leader in charge of them right now, because it'll give them time to reorganize as we move them forward. Okay, Kalmykian Cavalry Corps, yes, one of the, at least I think of them as Cossack type peoples. These might be technically a bit more Eastern oriented than that. But yes, we want to do that. Where's that formed? Okay, we'll send back here in Berlin. And we'll send them back here, hopefully, eventually to exploit capturing new territory, but if nothing else, chasing down revolts. The future of the Soviets. Okay, no need for for new viceroys or appoint Reich commissars. I'm going to go for, I'm guessing direct rule, if I understand this correctly. We will see if we get that far and how it goes, but that's going to be my pick. Okay. I think we're having a conflict here. I'm going to have to look into this bug, why it hasn't been done, because the first event should have a choice to just have the event fire. This is a TRE event, and I've done this for a few cities, that if once you take the city, it needs to wait it, because it's after the program judges every month what conditions are met at the start of the month to fire stuff so if it didn't know that it was going to be met at the beginning of June, so it will only end that, but it's supposed to give you a real short photo tour if you wanted to. It's supposed to be two things, and I got them photos from a real soldiers photo album of what Minsk looked like after the Germans took the city, and you can see a bunch of broken windows in there and how intact or unintact some of these different cities were, and I've done that. And it also harms the Soviets, but we lose 2 in descent and lose 0, which is, or 0.2, not in that, so you can see that's for us, but it's also supposed to fire an event. We have to look at that, which disrupts Soviet unity as well. This is a GGA event, yes. Assign a security role to the RAD behind the front lines, yes, we will do that. This is basically an event to give us more manpower. But like I say, the RAD were generally younger men, going to be going into the army, gotten training, through the Hitler Youth, continued more training in the RAD military types, but they're used for, I don't know, 18 months or something like that as construction workers, but in which they presumably still will be, but they will also be anti-partisan workers. I'll have to look at that in Minsk and see if there's conflict or something. This is red, but how? I might be able to still take them. Okay, I think we're going to call it a day on this. I know we haven't hardly moved it, budged it, but about 5 days there, or 4 days. I'm sorry if you wanted to have things a bit time clock faster, if you will. My play style is to play this out. Work down there, as you can see. We're going to stop attacking there, and I'm going to right now, in effect, yeah, I know I said we were stopping, but I guess can't. The Hermann Goering Brigade, July, upgraded its status, redesignated the Hermann Goering. Yes, we will do that. So we're taking that exhausted troops, sending them back to get reorganized. Yes, we want the Hungarian Occupation Command. Yes, thank you, Hungary. I know it comes right up in here. So it will give us... touch them to there. Bunch of anti-partisan units. Much larger unit. And we'll send that back into there. That's going to go away. Okay, I think this will be it, really. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to continue later.